everybody? This is Nima Golbabai on KUCI 88.9 Irvine, back with Cinéshow, and we got a brand new movie to review. And we did start 7 minutes late, so I apologize for that. Just a bit sleepy today. So we were going to have a guest today, but like I said, there's a good chance he wouldn't make it, and he's sort of like a Leonardo DiCaprio figure. He's very difficult to get, so we're just gonna have to do the review alone. And the review, of course, is Deadpool 3, which is called Deadpool and Wolverine, I believe. And I'm gonna pull that up right now on IMDb, like I always do, and we will review this film. Okay, so IMDb, Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's also pull it up on Rotten Tomatoes. Alright, so 8.2 on IMDb and 79% critic score, 96 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So before we get into the review, I'd like to just make a comment on Rotten Tomatoes. Ever since, I think 2020 or 2021, they've basically made the system where every audience score is really inflated, because now you have to be a verified user, and I have a feeling like it creates really high scores consistently, for the reason that if you want to go through the process of verifying your account to actually leave a review, the chances you probably loved the movie. So they kind of messed up the rating system. But also on IMDb, I would say this is overinflated, because 8.2 is movies like not Pulp Fiction, but Reservoir Dogs, great movies like that. So I wouldn't say it's that good. It's definitely a bit overrated, but I would say it was a good movie. Probably give it an 8 out of 10. Maybe a little less, probably 7.8, 78% or something like that. But I would give it an 8 out of 10, and I will tell you why. So we should probably start with the first two Deadpool movies. They are movies that are pretty weak on plot, but are just funny. And this movie is in that same vein. It's weak on plot, but it's funny. However, I would say that it is more funny than the first two, in my opinion. Also, I guess it's kind of more significant than the last two, and it's just more worth watching. The first two, you don't really need to even see. That's probably because, Hugh Jackman came back for his casting as Wolverine. And yeah, so I'll just do a basic plot overview of this movie. Like I said, it is a little confusing because the plot is a little thin. But I'll read the description here on IMDb. So it's: Deadpool is offered a place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe by the Time Variance Authority, but instead recruits a variant of Wolverine to save his universe from extinction. So it's got that same sort of trend with the other Deadpool movies. It's very meta, and he breaks the fourth wall, and he's talking to the camera and all that stuff. So the Time Variance Authority is basically saying, oh, you can be part of the big guys, you can join the real timeline, but you're going to have to destroy your own world. And basically, it uses the same plot device, the TVA, which was established by all these other shows that are really bad, but it kind of acknowledges it's a bad plot point, and they make jokes about how far Marvel has fallen multiple times, which I thought was helpful, because there's nothing better than the truth. And yeah, so let me try to like read you guys a storyline here. Plot summary or plot synopsis maybe. Alright, here, I'll read this. In 2018, Wade Wilson uses Cable's time-traveling device to travel from his timeline, Earth 10,005, to Earth 1616, the sacred timeline, where he meets Happy Hogan and requests to join the Avengers, but he is refused. 6 years later, Wade has retired from being a masked mercenary known as Deadpool and began to work as a used car salesman after breaking up with his girlfriend, Vanessa Carlyle. During his birthday party, the Time Variance Authority captures Wade and brings him to Mr. Paradox, who offers him a place on Earth 1616. Earth 616. However, Paradox reveals that Wade's timeline is deteriorating as a result of the death of James Logan Howlett, who is Wolverine, obviously, who is revealed to be the timeline's anchor being. Wade steals Paradox's Tempad to travel to the multiverse and find a variant of Logan to save his timeline. After encountering multiple Logan variants, Wade takes one back to the TVA, where he learns that this particular Logan destroyed his universe before Paradox prunes them into the void. Wade and Logan fight before they and Johnny Storm are captured and sent to Cassandra Nova. Alright, let's stop the synopsis there. So, this is the part where the movie kind of gets interesting. Basically, it starts Wolverine's arc in this movie where he's the worst version of Wolverine in this multiverse universe they've created. He's done something that, like, his entire world hates him, and he failed to, like, save the world or whatever. And also, when they're in the void, they have a cameo with the Human Torch, I believe his name is. So Johnny Storm, I guess, I think, which is played by Chris Evans. So originally you kind of think it's Captain America, but then you realize it's from that terrible Fantastic Four movie from the early 2000s. And yeah, so yeah, they're sent to Cassandra Nova, who is played by the actress that played Princess Diana in The Crown, which I noticed. I haven't actually seen The Crown, but I've seen clips on YouTube, so I recognized her. So maybe she'll have a career in film after this. I thought she was actually pretty decent in this film. Okay, so I will continue the synopsis. So they're sent to Cassandra Nova, whom Logan identifies as a twin sister of the X-Men leader Charles Xavier. Upon arriving at Nova's lair, she just demonstrates her power to manipulate people's minds and explains her agreement with the TVA to stay in the void as a gang leader. She then kills Johnny and tries to puzzle Wade with the feeling of not being needed before Alioth appears. Wade and Logan escape before Alioth can consume them. So, yeah, this is a really funny scene when Johnny Storm dies. He's basically turned into a goop, like, instantly, which sort of establishes her power in this void, where she's, like, really powerful here. It's always hard to, like, explain humor on when you're doing a summary, but just take my word, it's a funny movie. Okay, so following their escape, Logan and Wade meet a new variant of Wade called Nice Pool. Nice Pool is funny. It's like a hippie-looking version of Ryan Reynolds. He's got, like, long hair, and he sort of, like, has this dumb look on his face. I kind of hated him in a way because he just looked like you wanted to punch him in the face. But he was funny, I guess. So, Nice Pool gives them a car so they can travel to the Void's borderlands and join the resistance against Nova and her forces. But Logan chastises Wade for hiding the fact that he is not sure he's able to fix Logan's timeline. Arriving at the Borderlands, Wade and Logan meet the Resistance members, Elektra, so that's Carmen Electra, Blade, Remy LeBeau, and X-23, nicknamed the Others by Wade. The others want to team up with Wade and Logan to fight Nova, but Logan refuses to cooperate. However, he eventually relents after a conversation with X-23 about his inability to save the X-Men in his universe. Okay, so yeah, this was a cool part of the movie. You got to see like some of these like B to D tier superhero movies characters that never worked out. Especially Carmen Electra. Like, let's search up her movie. Carmen Electra. Oh, not Carmen Electra, sorry. Why did I say that? Electra, the movie. It's not Carmen Electra. So that has a 11% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 29% audience score. So that was a bomb that came out in 2005. So she's in this movie, but I guess she's actually pretty good in this movie. I like her. And then like X-23, I don't know who that is, but I'm gonna. Oh, X-23 was the girl from Logan, so that she was really good to see back in this movie. If you remember the little girl from Logan that has like Logan's similar powers. Who else? Remy LeBeau. Let me see who that is. LeBeau. I actually don't know where this guy is from, but he was in X-Men Origins, which is not a very good movie. But like, you know what I'm saying? These are kind of like B to D tier. But Blade was really cool to see again, and he also like doesn't look old, which is good. Same with Elektra, and then X-23. She doesn't look so different, so that's also good. I was able to recognize her. So they team up, and like it says, Wolverine reveals that in his universe, he basically wasn't able to save the X-Men. So you get a little hint of why he failed in his universe. And I think it should say later in this synopsis, but he reveals all. But anyway, it says Wade and Logan and the others go to confront Nova, who Logan has mentally incapacitated. But Wade places Juggernaut's helmet on her to block her powers. Pyro shoots Nova and reveals himself as Paradox, sleeper agent assigned to kill her. Logan persuades Wade to remove the helmet to allow Nova to heal. In exchange, Nova uses a sling ring from a Doctor Strange variant to open a portal for the duo to travel into Wade's timeline. So basically, the way they convince the Nova lady is Paradox basically breaks their agreement. He sends someone to kill her, and then she goes into a rage. I don't remember exactly why he tried to kill her, but she was like getting too powerful or something. But okay, upon arriving on Earth 10,005, Wade and Logan find that Paradox is using the Time Ripper, a device he developed to mercy kill timelines. Sorry, I yawned. Which he plans to use on Wade's timeline without permission from his superior. Nova quickly learns this from the executed Pyro as she travels through another portal and kidnaps Paradox. Wade and Logan battle for the Deadpool core, an army of Deadpool variants coming through this portal. Before Nova takes control of the Time Ripper to destroy all timelines as revenge for Paradox's betrayal. Paradox tells Wade and Logan that no one can disrupt the power flow of the Time Ripper at the cost of their life. Using their bodies as conductors, Wade and Logan kill Nova and destroy the Time Ripper but remain alive. Hunter B-15 destroys Paradox. Uh, so before we do this, this is the last paragraph, but before this scene, like, sort of the ending scene, Logan reveals that in his timeline, basically, he was too drunk to save the X-Men because, he's always at the bar drinking. So in that timeline, this Logan basically was out drinking and all the X-Men were killed. But he gets his redemption arc, and it was actually pretty good. It was pretty good to see him like redeem himself. It was a good end to his little character arc. But the last paragraph of the synopsis says the others are returned to their respective timelines upon Wade's request, while Logan is permitted to stay in Wade's timeline, which no longer deteriorates. Logan hopes for a change in his past, but B-15 tells him that his past is what makes him the anchor needed to save Wade's timeline, and there's no reason for further change. Logan chooses to retire and live a peaceful life. Before his departure, Wade takes Logan to meet his friends. Encouraged by Logan, Wade reconciles with Vanessa. Alright, so that's basically the whole movie. So it's a good movie. It made me laugh throughout. It's definitely funny. I would say it's more funny than the other two. I would say that the plot is probably better than number 2, but probably worse than number 1. They're both all three of them are like really simplistic plots. This one is more obsessed with like techno babble and multiverses and timelines and all this stuff that Marvel added in, but the only reason it was able to work is because like I said, this movie is like really meta, and they're like, yeah, Marvel's bad now, and that's what makes this funny, which gives me hope that this movie was like about the reset, saying like, okay, we're no longer going to do this junk multiverse nonsense. We're going to write real movies. And of course, a few days later, after this, or maybe like a day later, basically, it was announced the Russo brothers are coming back. Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, and Kang is gone. Kang has been cut. If you know Kang, Kang has all these scandals. The actor, he's like, I don't know what he did. I think he like beat up some lady he was dating or something crazy like that. So Marvel has kicked him to the curb. They've brought back the Russo brothers. They brought back Robert Downey Jr. And maybe they're finally out of the multiverse madness that has been destroying the MCU. But there's some concerns to go over, but I probably should finish my review of Deadpool before I get to that. So to finish my review with Deadpool, we should talk about the main concern of this movie. The main concern is, was this movie worth it? Should they have brought Logan back from the dead to make this his movie instead of, Logan? So it's complicated. I think they did it in a decent way. I think they were clear that this is a different Logan than the one that died in... This is not the main Logan. This is one that sort of has his own failures and had an opportunity to redeem himself. To me, it never felt like the same Logan that was from the main timeline with X-Men and all that, and the one that had like the greatest end of any character in Logan, which was an amazing movie that I recommend. It was fantastic in every way. And to me, maybe people will disagree with me, but to me, I never got the feeling that they were, stomping on the grave of the Logan film and Wolverine as a character. And here's the caveat. this was worth it, in my opinion, if they bring this Wolverine, the one in the yellow suit, to the MCU, and they bring him into the new Avengers movies, because let's be honest, there's some real trouble they have. The current characters they have lined up, nobody cares, nobody likes them, and that's the truth. Nobody wants to see the current lineup of characters they have, so they need somebody with big name recognition. Hugh Jackman, great. A popular character, Wolverine, great. He doesn't look old. He still can fight. He's a really good actor. Yeah. So I say this is worth it if they bring him into the Avengers. And that basically sums up this movie. I would say it's a good movie. Give it an 8 out of 10. It was funny throughout. It was entertaining. I would say sometimes it was a bit slow and a bit of a slog, but genuinely funny throughout. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it. Deadpool was, I would say he was the most fun to watch in this movie. And that somewhat might be because of Wolverine. But he was great in his own right. So now let's get to the news with Robert Downey Jr. So if you haven't heard, I guess you should know that Robert Downey Jr. obviously played Iron Man in phases 1 through 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He had, in my opinion, objectively the best character. He had an amazing, however many movies he did, like, I don't know, like 10, something like that, 7 or something. He had an amazing arc. He started off as this guy that was only interested in money, and then he slowly grew his character. He went through hard times, and he dedicated his life to saving the Earth. He was always doubted by Captain America, but he proved over and over that he was willing to put his own life in danger to save the Earth. And then, of course, in Endgame, or in Infinity War, he failed for the first time, and it sort of broke him, and he was demoralized. But in Endgame, he came back for the final hurrah, and he died in combat in like one of the best scenes ever, in my opinion. I at least hold it as one of the best scenes ever. Really sad, where he dies, and he sort of goes out with this amazing final scene where he dies, and he knows that he saved the Earth, and he saved his daughter and all that, and he was like a good person in the end. So that is the concern. They are bringing back Robert Downey Jr., but he had the most incredible end of all time. And no matter how good a character is, it's not great to bring them back from the dead. Also, we have bad experiences with this in Disney-related content. You can think of bringing back the Emperor, which was a disaster. They ruined the whole series, all of Star Wars. So they have a track record of ruining stuff. But there's a silver lining. I'm not like super educated on who Doctor Doom is, because I think that's the name of his character. Hold on, let me make sure here. Yeah, so he is playing Doctor Doom. So I don't know who Doctor Doom is. I assume he's a supervillain. And I also don't know, what does it mean Robert Downey Jr. is coming back? Is he coming back as the same guy? Like, is this Tony Stark? But like, how is he Doctor Doom? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But the silver lining is the Russo brothers are directing this. They have trashed the Kang series. They have put them in charge. They're actually competent directors. If you don't know, they made Winter Soldier, they made Civil War, they made both Endgame and Infinity War. So they have like a really good track record of success, high box office, great ratings, all that stuff. They basically presided over like the golden age of the MCU. And then they like pieced out and it all went downhill. So I'm not going to say they're going to ruin Iron Man because I respect them as directors and I'm hoping that I'm correct about that. A part of me is excited because Robert Downey Jr. is great. The Russo brothers are great, and I think they do respect the material. And also, you got to think about it this way. Those Avengers movies were going to bomb, at least compared to the other ones they've made. People were not going to watch them. I don't even know who is in the Avengers anymore. It's so confusing and like you don't even care. So they brought back Robert Downey Jr. I think if they bring Wolverine into it, it can be really special. But they got to be really careful. They cannot ruin Iron Man. They cannot ruin Tony Stark. And they got to do something actually good. And there's no like build up to the Avengers anymore. They don't have that same lead in of all the really good movies that led up to like Avengers 1 and then Ultron, Infinity War, then Endgame. They don't have that. So they got a tall order, but apparently Robert Downey Jr. had like high standards for coming back. He only was going to come back if the Russo brothers were going to direct it, which is actually a good sign. Because I honestly don't think anyone else could make these movies work. And he also apparently got paid higher than what he got paid last time, which was $80 million. So he's probably making $100 million. He's getting free security, free private jet travel. He's got all the goodies there. So he's really chilling on that front. And there was a big reception to him at the like Marvel conference. He sort of like took off his mask and revealed he was playing the character, and everybody, went crazy and all that. I saw on Twitter, there were a lot of people concerned on Twitter. They were worried like, oh no, they're going to ruin the character, which I totally understand. I'm going to be optimistic because I really like the Russo brothers. I think they made some really, really, really awesome movies. And you know what? I think I'm going to watch Winter Soldier today. I think that's what I'm going to watch. But I loved, like, ever since I watched Winter Soldier as a kid, I was always, like, when I saw that movie, I was like, okay, this is hype. So I'm a little excited that they could possibly turn this sinking ship around. I almost said a simping ship. Shout out to all the simps, okay? And yeah, so let's search up some news. Let's see if there's anything I don't know about. Robert Downey Jr. Okay, so yeah, the actor Jonathan Majors is he's not happy about because he was supposed to be the next Thanos, it really went off to a bad start. He was in a bunch of nonsense movies. He was really bad stuff. He didn't compare to Thanos, and then all these scandals came out about him, and Marvel was in a really bad spot. They had a dud on their hands in terms of this guy is not going to excite people for a movie, but then also he was scandal ridden, and I think he's actually a good actor. Let me see, he was in something I liked. Wait. He was in Creed 3. I never saw Creed 3. I swear he was in a movie I liked. I guess not. He's actually kind of a new actor. He hasn't really been in much that is famous. Alright, you know what? I stand corrected. I don't know much about this guy. But he was in a scandal. Yeah, he beat his girlfriend up, basically. So, yep. They suspended commercials they were doing with him, and yeah, Marvel basically dropped him after his conviction in 2023. So yeah, I guess he was convicted for this offense. He didn't go to jail. He 52 weeks of a domestic violence and intervention program. Yeah, but here's the thing. If he was really great and this was a home run, they wouldn't have dropped him. I think in the end, it's good they dropped him because that movie they were making wasn't going to work. It just was not going to work. I'm telling you. Okay, so Robert Downey Jr., let's see. Avengers Doomsday. GameSpot. GameSpot's always good. So, yeah, it's hard to believe it's coming out next year. That's a little worrying because I'm worried they're just trying to rework the junk they had before. They're just going to push this thing out. So, okay, what is Doomsday about? Plot details are being kept under wraps. In the comics, members of the Fantastic Four teamed up with the Marvel heroes to take on Doctor Doom. Whether it will follow this storyline is unknown. At Comic-Con, it was confirmed that members of the Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts will appear in both Doomsday and Secret Wars. So that means you can expect people like Pedro Pascal, Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby, and Sue Storm, along with Florence Pugh as Yelena. Oh man, I hate that character. Oh god. Oh god, Red Guardian. No, these are like the terrible Black Widow characters. Oh my god. Oh no. Okay. I guess they can give them a reboot, make the characters likable. Alright, when is it coming out? Oh, no, it's releasing in 2026, May. Okay, it's filming in 2025. Alright, you know what, that's not bad. Robert Downey Jr. is set to appear as Doctor Doom. He is reportedly getting a payday of $80 million plus. It doesn't say how he's going to be Doctor Doom. Is this Tony Stark still, or I don't know how this works. Yep, Russo brothers are here. They are getting paid $80 million to make both of them. It's a lot of money for sure. Isn't it weird that the director is getting paid less than like one single actor? If you're a great actor, it's just like printing money because you're only getting paid because you're a box office draw. It's not like you have a job that's particularly difficult. I'm not saying like it's easy to be a good actor, but it's not $100 million hard. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the director should get always paid more than the actors. But I guess for these films, the actors are so huge. But you know what? It's probably good they're bringing the Fantastic Four in because then they can push out some of these terrible characters like She-Hulk, and like those other people they've added in that I don't even remember their names. Oh, Shang-Chi. I mean, come on. That guy is not an Avenger. We know that. He's as wooden as anything. But hopefully this all turns out good. I think they got a tall order because they gotta salvage a literal sinking ship. There's not much you can do, but hopefully they can make it work. But look, I don't see anything here about like how he becomes Doctor Doom. Let's see. How is RDJ Doom? Okay, so it's just a theory. So here's how it could work. How is such a recasting possible? So they did not divulge details, but let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a possibility that these are two different characters played by the same actor, but there's no way that's gonna work, right? Everyone's just gonna associate Doctor Doom with, unless they like put him in a bunch of makeup, but I don't understand the point of casting Robert Downey Jr. That just seems like, nostalgia bait. Okay, so it could be set in a different universe where Doctor Doom is the equivalent of Tony Stark. Once again, I'm not a big fan of that. Definitely not. That might, because when in Deadpool it made sense because they weren't saying Wolverine was evil. They were saying that like he just made a mistake, and he was always kind of like a reluctant hero. But if they like say, okay, this is Tony Stark, but now he's like really evil, that could really not go over well. We gotta see. I don't want to say anything, but so Robert Downey Jr. said on stage, new mask, same task. He said, "What can I say? I like playing complicated characters." Alright, here's the hope. Robert Downey Jr. looked through the script or whatever, and he really liked the character, and he thinks it can work, and he demanded that the Russo brothers come back, so it will be all good. Something like that. Alright. We just gotta see. Let's see some of the comic book representations of Doctor Doom. Yeah, he's definitely looks like a super villain. He wears green. He's got a mask. He's got a cape. It will be interesting to see. And of course, this was meant to be the Kang movie. Yeah, I don't know. The biggest problem with these movies is there's barely any like build up. It's not like the Avengers movies where you're building towards the Infinity Saga, and it was all about like collecting all the Infinity Stones, and then the Avengers lose in Infinity War, and then they come back one last time. I'll still maintain this. Marvel, after Phase 3, after Endgame, should have just hanged up the coat. Even if they just wanted to do it for like 5 years. You know what? Fine. Let's be generous. Hang up the coat for like 2 years. Don't release phase 4. Wait until you have everything written out perfectly. You have a whole storyline. You got something great story to tell before you started. But they started right away, and it was a mistake. The real mistake was they didn't have a story. But if they had just like, I don't know, like made standalone movies or something like that. But they should have. There was a lot of mistakes. Maybe they should have just taken like a 2 year break or a 1 year break, and like started with something like the new Hulk movie, something like that, an interesting character to like start out the new saga, and each one like in phase 1 would build towards something new, add a few new characters along the way, like make this into a good story, and then like we would have the Avengers Doomsday thing. Forget the multiverses, forget all this nonsense. And isn't it so weird they chose to start they choose to start with a dead character, you know, Black Widow. Like you could have given her her own movie back when she was alive, but they chose to like go back in time and tell a story about a dead character. As much as people like her, people don't really want to see a movie about a dead character. That's just facts. So they made a lot of mistakes. Um, 1 second here. I'm just trying to figure something out. Okay, figured it out. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Deadpool more, and then we shall peace out. We got about 5 minutes left. So, the Deadpool movie, I would say its strongest points is there's not like more than 5 minutes where you don't get out a laugh, so that's the good part. And I would actually say some of the more quieter moments where like you get to learn more about some of the characters and their failures and all that was actually pretty decent. And like I said, I did like the Wolverine character. I liked the arc, and I especially liked the reveal where, and Deadpool had been poking fun at it the whole time, like he's the only Wolverine, or he's a Wolverine that actually wears his like comic book costume, like the yellow outfit. And then it reveals near the end of the movie why he's wearing it, and it was actually really powerful. It's probably the most powerful part of the movie. So basically he was saying that like, yeah, so when he was in the X-Men, you know, he would never wear it, but after all of them died because of like him and his like drinking problems or whatever, like he never will take it off anymore because it's like the only thing he has to connect him with the past and the people that died. So I thought that was really nice, really powerful. And I also think like he does like look good in it. Like he looks cool. Um, yeah, for some reason I can't even remember how he dresses in the X-Men movies. I assume he just dresses in that like X-Men. Let's see. He probably just dresses in like that standard jumpsuit they all wear. So it was not like anything special. Yeah, he's just sort of in this black outfit. Um, but yeah, that was my favorite part of like the character part of the movie, when you got to find out little by little like what went wrong in Wolverine's timeline, and then you find out why he never takes his, or why he's like wearing this weird yellow suit. Because they could have just made it like something cheap, like, oh, he's just from a different universe, this is how he chooses to dress. But they actually like put some time and thought into it, like, you know, it's not only to differentiate him from our Logan, our uh, Wolverine character, it's to show that like he is different and he has been through stuff and experienced stuff that the main Wolverine has not. So that really worked really nicely. And then also you had like little references to like the characters from X-Men, which also worked well, I have to say. But he was definitely the strongest character. Mr. Paradox, he was okay. He was like lots of technobabble, British guy talking lots, just blasting you with information. That part is the part that like made the plot a little like not that good, you know. But like I said, the plot was serviceable. It was just like clunky and unclear at parts, and it was definitely slow in areas. But the problem wasn't the slowness, because you can have great story that is slow. There's no problem. The problem is like you didn't really know what was going on at a lot of it, and it wasn't because it was too complicated. It was because it was not properly explained. Just looking at Jonathan Majors, for some reason, his Wikipedia page, he's currently serving 52-week in-person domestic violence intervention program. I wonder what they tell you at that school. Like, don't hit people. Don't attack your girlfriend for 52 weeks. I really wonder. I had to take like a driving course because I got pulled over for speeding. And I'll tell you what, 5 hours and 40 minutes of nonsense. So 52 weeks, does it actually like teach you? I mean, how can you teach someone not? That's sort of innate, right? He should know that innately. Can you teach someone not to attack their girlfriend? It's like, you should probably just like figure that out on your own. So I don't know if that's really a punishment. It's more like he probably just has to go do it. I'm sure that's how he thinks about it. But he didn't go to jail for it, so he lucked out. If probably he wasn't a celebrity, he would have gone to jail. Celebrities do not go to jail. There was a guy. We're about out of time, but let me shout out a great movie, and this is proof celebrities don't go to jail. There's this great movie called Lost Highway, which I would consider the scariest movie I've ever seen. It's a fantastic David Lynch movie. I don't even want to bother explaining it because I can't. It's just so weird, so unsettling. But it has this actor named Jonathan Blake. Not Jonathan Blake, Robert Blake, sorry. Robert Blake in this film is the most creepy looking man you'll ever see in your life. You want to run away from this guy or attack him in some way to like, you want to neutralize the threat, even though he's not violent. He just looks like he wants to murder you. So he's great in this movie, all that stuff, but in his personal life, he had a little bit of a run-in with the law. So basically he goes out to eat at a diner with his wife, and he has a gun on him. So they go out to the diner, they finish eating, but when they go back to his car, his wife is shot and killed, and obviously he's charged with murder because he had a revolver on him at the time of his wife's murder. And his alibi was, I could not have possibly have shot my wife because she was shot in the car and I was going back into the restaurant to go get my revolver. Like, that's his alibi. And the court bought it and he was free. He never went to jail. And I'm not saying he did it, but that just seems so crazy. Like, what's the coincidence your wife is shot and your alibi is, oh, I left my gun on the table, so it couldn't have been me. That's a good alibi. But no way. I feel like a celebrity gets away with stuff that he shouldn't. But sadly, the great Robert Blake, he died, I think about a year ago. Let me check. He died in March 9th, 2023. He actually had a YouTube channel, believe it or not, that I found shortly before his death because I had watched the movie Lost Highway. And he's a strange guy. He was. Well, let me check what he was posting on this YouTube channel, but it was weird stuff that you would not expect a celebrity to be doing. Um, okay, so this aged poorly. He had a show on his YouTube channel called I Ain't Dead Yet, so stay tuned. And spoiler alert, he is dead now. But yeah, he did 26 episodes of his little show, and he's basically him in a chair talking. So if you want to go check out Robert Blake, highly recommend the movie Lost Highway, but only if you can handle very weird movies. Anyway, guys, that's been my show, Cinéshow on KUCI 88.9 Irvine. Thank you for watching. I'm with you to the end of the line.